They always somehow think the grass is greener on the other side. And once they get over there and realize it's a cliff, all of a sudden it's all Jermaine's fault.
And it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault.
Let's check out this latest example. The grass is never greener on the other side, ladies and gentlemen. And right now I'm talking to the ladies. All right. You always think there's something better over there, right? Without realizing that there's some give and take, there's some compromises, and actually what's over there might even be worse than what you left. And oftentimes that indeed is the case. Now, I saw this on Instagram earlier in the day where a comedian was responding to it, and it was actually pretty funny. And as I was scrolling through YouTube, I saw Anton Daniels also react to this. And so I did a little digging on TikTok myself and happened to come across it. I will leave a link to both the videos I'm going to react to in the description box. But first, we are going to lay the groundwork for the argument that is being talked about here. That, like I said, the grass is not greener on the other side. And inevitably, she will blame everyone else for the reason why she made a bad decision. Right or wrong reason, doesn't matter. All right. Now I'm going to play this real quick to set the stage. This is a TikTok video. So before we get into react to all the content, let me give my fair use break. All right. Fair use.
One thing I like about me is that I'm nothing like you, and I never will be.
Shut your stupid ass up. Say that, folks. What did your dumb ass say it?
Now, you heard that music, right?
Enemy spotted.
Implying that, I'll never be like you. I never will be. And you see the caption, you read it, right? To my ex who lured me.
Bitch, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way.
To my ex who lured me out of a great marriage and then got me and then cheated on me with the bird finger emoji. Let's examine this for just a few quick minutes, all right? Or a few seconds, rather. To my ex who lured me out of a great relationship. Ma'am, you didn't get lured out of a relationship. There was something there on the other side of the grass, the other side that I talked about, that you happen to like, and somehow you thought it would be better than what you had. Lured you out of a great marriage and then got you and cheated on you. By the way, you heard the saying, some of you in the urban community, y'all heard this, right? What he did with you, he'll do to you or on you, that kind of nature, right? If he cheated with you, he'll cheat on you. That goes for men and women, all right? How you got him is how you keep him. You heard that before, right? You got this guy by leaving your husband, your current husband, which you probably cheated on him before you left him with that guy, and then you got with him, and guess what? Karma came for your ass. And guess what? You got what you gave, all right? And while you may not have cheated, you aided in the cheating. In this case, you were the cheater, all right? Again, I've cheated before myself, so I'm not a saint in this case either. But what I am saying is that, and this goes for me too, because it's happened to me before, usually what it's not green on the other side. There's sometimes when it is, but that is rare, all right? And usually there's factors into that even, okay? So it's all context. But y'all see it, right? Lured me out of a great relationship. So this guy pulled you out of a good relationship, really. But in any case, let's get to the video where she does a story time and explains this caption, all right? So stay right there. Okay, so here is the video where she explains, or rather gives excuses on why she tanked her marriage, a great marriage rather, to another guy, and then essentially gets cheated on in that marriage, and essentially he lost two relationships, which she could have kept one great one, right? Let's listen to her excuses, her reasons for doing so.
So I think I need to respond to this post, and thank you, Riley, for bringing up. I need a story time because I think it needs a story because I'm sick of explaining it. So I got pregnant when I was 19 years old, okay? And my mom was like, "You're getting married." Actually, yeah. No, gave birth when I was 19. So I was like 18-ish when I got when I was pregnant. So my mom like forced it upon me. She was like, "You're not going to be one of those mothers who are not married, and you're on your own on welfare," because she worked for the welfare department. So she was like, "My daughter's not going to be one of them. I deal with that on the daily, and you are going to get married."
Okay, so let's break this first part down, right? So you got pregnant at an early age, which is not uncommon in today's society, where no matter what race or culture, you got pregnant earlier on, 18, 19, whatever, 17, whatever. You got married very early as a very young adult. Your mother worked for the welfare system, so she understood that you yourself was about to get into a situation where you were going to be on the government dole, and she did not want that for you. And so what she did, she tell you, you need to get married, probably to the guy that got you pregnant. And she, in today's culture, doing the right thing is frowned upon because usually it was a one-night stand or something. These two aren't really emotionally or mentally invested or anything like that. So it was just a one-time thing. But mom's going to turn this to a marriage so that way she isn't on the government system. Admirable, but in the long run, today's time, it's not a good idea. But versus being a single mother, I guess mom wanted the best, right? Let's continue.
Now, we loved each other. Yes, we were madly in love. We were high school sweethearts. Yeah.
So what's the problem? Y'all love each other. Y'all were sweethearts in school. And so mom said, you got pregnant by the man, go and tie the knot. Okay.
So we were just pregnant. We moved in. My mom's like, "You're getting married." So we got married. I was 5 months pregnant when I walked down the aisle. Everyone, it was the talk of the town. We're in a big family. "Oh my God, she's pregnant. Oh my God." That's why my mom's like, "You're getting married. She's not going to be made fun of because her daughter had a baby out of wedlock." And I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm win-win.
And by the way, you hear her talking about, right, how common this is to be a single mother. So she's like, she didn't really give a damn. But mom wanted better for her daughter. Again, admirable. She didn't really care. She was like, she didn't care about being the pariah of the town, being one of the few single mothers in her area. She didn't care about that. She was willing to have the baby on her own. The mom forced her to get married. Y'all see that? The culture, the mindset of this woman at the time?
I went with it. I was 19. What the fuck was I going to do? And I loved him, like, madly. We were crazy in love with each other. That's why it was a good marriage. We were best friends.
So you're framing it as you got forced into marriage, which maybe you did or didn't. But in the same breath, you're saying that you loved him and it was a good marriage. So again, what is the problem?
So when we got married, he became a bricklayer, okay? So it was a great job in Detroit, and for a long time, he was building all the buildings downtown, everything like that. We bought a house. We were the only people out of our friends who had a house. Everybody came to our house. It was the party house. We really had a good time. It was a great marriage. It was a great, happy family.
So let's go. Let's keep going. You got pregnant early by your boyfriend, I guess at the time. Your mom forced you to get married, even though you loved the guy. Y'all got married. He had a great job in the town in Detroit, I guess, and provided you with a wonderful life. You had a best house in the block. You had everything you wanted. You had plenty of friends, a big, nice friend circle. He probably had friends, and it was great, right? Or at least at the moment. So
yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
I'm still trying to figure out what the problem is here.
Then he started getting laid off all the time because the economy just wasn't what it was. Like, shortly after we got married, it was like every winter he would get laid off. Every winter, because you can't lay bricks, you can't lay concrete. It's got to be a certain temperature. You know what I mean? So we struggled. We lived paycheck to paycheck every day of our lives. There were always single men all around. All the time there were single men. Every time there was guys that lived across the street. They always flirted. There was always alcohol involved. Everybody was always drinking. Like I said, our house was the party house. So I never did anything, but then there were times and I just don't even know. That's a whole nother video.
Okay, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Wait a minute. Where's my? Your husband started falling on hard times, but y'all was still living a particular lifestyle. And so there are other men around you that had money, that were doing well off, probably single. And so your husband was falling down, and what were you doing? You were monkey branching. You found another guy that you could latch on to that saw you struggling and didn't give a damn about your husband on the side right there, right? Your actual husband. And yeah, You started monkey branching. That okay. All right, your husband fell on hard times and you weren't willing to go through the struggle with him. Sounds familiar.
We're gonna cut that out, and that'll be another video. I didn't know what it meant to take vows, you guys. I was 19, and I probably was ready to pass out from lack of oxygen because I was standing in a church full of everybody there for me and 5 months pregnant, which I hated my pregnancy. I was miserable. I was not the girl who dreamt of getting married and walking down the aisle. No.
Okay, so now now is I was young. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's go. All right. So now on the back end, you know you loved him and you know you got married. It was a great marriage, but now you're gonna fall back on I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. I was miserable and blah blah blah. Here comes the excuse making. All right.
I want to run the beach and be free and lay in the sun. That's it. No, I don't want to do anything like family. I don't know. I didn't want to do that. I mean, it wasn't my dream. I did it, and I played face for a long time. So he's always laid off. I have to, like, I'm not educated, so I got to go get educated, right? Like, I always waitress at night. So my husband at the time would go to work Brick Lane during the day. Well, that's how it was during the day in the beginning, and then I would go at night when he got home, would cook dinner and everything. As soon as he would come home, we would switch, and he would stay there with the baby at night, and I would go waitress, and then I'd come home. That went on for a while. Then, like I said, he started getting laid off, so then somebody had to go to work. So time for Mama to step up to the plate. So I did. I was like, yeah, bitch, I'm ready. I'm ready to get the fuck out of this house. But then I was going to school. I was working at a hospital, working at the hospital, clinical hours at the hospital, and bartending at the same time. And he was just staying home.
All right. Was he just staying home, or was he trying to find some jobs?
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
He had a seasonal profession that was good at first, but then it started turning bad, and you had to bear the responsibilities of, you know, being the provider of the household, which is unfortunate, okay? I get it. And you had to go to school and learn some skills. That way you can start making more money because you had to carry their financial load, okay? Got it. But at the same time, I don't think that just would have been your husband sound like he might have been a driven guy. He wasn't going to stay in the hole forever, right? But of course, not all women, okay? Not all. Shout out to Jess Lee Peterson. But this particular woman was getting tired of the struggle. And well, when the woman has to provide, she starts losing respect for the guy, right? And that sounds like what's happening here.
Which is fine. We were a team, but I started losing respect. He started, we just really...
What did I just say? Mind you, I haven't watched this video all the way through. I watched the first one all the way through, but this one I got about, a few seconds in. Lord have mercy. Okay, let's go.
Hey, the dog always wants to drink my coffee. Benny. He's my new man now. That's what I live. I don't have a man. Yeah. Okay. I live with no man. This is my man. They rule my world. We just broke apart. It was getting bad, and I had resentment, and there was this guy at my new job who would not stop flirting with me, and he was tall, dark, and handsome, and he said all the right things, and it was the new job I was getting into, and he was like the best at that job, and I just watched him and learned from him every day, and I just was enamored by him, and he never left me alone every day. He just was a talker. My phone was blowing up. He never stopped.
Tall, dark, and handsome, huh? Sound like a brother. And of course, he was dirty macking because he knew you was married, but he didn't give a damn. He was flirting with you, trying to, pull you, and he got you. All right? He wore you down. You was in a bad way. You didn't have any discipline, and be honest with you, I don't expect you to. And so you got weak to the guy, like they say, you felt weak to the work husband. And here we go.
It was irresistible. It became irresistible. I was pushing him off of me. But then we went out, all of us, as a group, and we drank. And when alcohol's involved, it's not good. That's why I don't drink anymore. Literally the beginning of the end. I think weeks later, my ex-husband found his receipt in my vehicle and asked who he was. And I think that also he may have started to go into Verizon and start looking at the hundreds and hundreds of text messages that were going on each day between me and the dude.
So your husband found out, your husband had a suspicion, intuition, like I talked about in the other video. That always happens on the back end. Your husband felt like you were losing respect. You started spending more time at work, started spending more time at these work functions, these work dinners, and work parties. and he figured something was afoot amiss. And so he did a little bit of digging. It probably didn't take very long. And guess what? He found what he was looking for. Yep. That, you was enamored by this guy, this tall, dark, and handsome man that worked with all the game. Okay. And of course, blame alcohol. Got to blame alcohol.
Enemy spotted.
And you're young.
Enemy spotted.
And you didn't want to get married.
Enemy spotted.
So, yeah.
Gets me. What? Don't give me. So in that time, I literally, like I said, it was the beginning of the end, and I broke down, and it was a very quick downward spiral. I'm lucky that I made it out, never losing my job or, also graduating and just getting through all of the stuff that I got through because I was in utter turmoil
You got
the
lucky.
entire time. I
Got
got
lucky.
divorced, and then I moved in with the dude. My son didn't want to live with him. I mean, it was just a whole horrible thing. My son just dropped out of school. It was just everything went bad when I got divorced. And
Of course it did. You tore up your family for another guy. And the son doesn't want to, of course, because he's not even white. He's probably a black guy, like I said, tall, dark, and handsome. Your son didn't want it. Your son wanted the dad, but of course you kept the son. You kept the child like they all do. You moved him in with this fucking brother, and everything falls apart because, well, you pulled the pin on the grenade. You pulled the piece out of the puzzle, right? You pulled the last brick in Jenga, and everything started falling.
I should never have. And I was just delusional the whole time. I was completely delusional. I drank
Sure.
so much alcohol. I could not make decisions properly. My family would not interact with me anymore because I was making such wrong decisions. Nobody liked the guy that I was dating.
Of course.
So I had no support. They were just shocked that I left
Yep.
my ex.
Do it yourself.
It's good times, Good times. Good fucking times. No, it was the worst of times, and I don't know how I made it out. It was the grace of God that I made it all out alive.
You deserve
and now
it.
I'm way on the other side, and it's crazy because the boyfriend, the guy that I left my husband for, he still literally tries. I literally still had to just block him because he still tries to come into my life.
AKA, you still letting him hit. Hey, you still letting him hit.
He lives with a girl. So this is how I know that he's just, that's why I can make this fucking video, okay, and say, one thing about me is that I know that I'm never like you. Okay, that's what the fucking video is. Why is everyone flipping out over the video? I went into the comments and they hide these comments, and I approved all of these because I want them to be seen. I want all these comments to be seen. I take accountability. If you look in my follow me or anything, I have a series called Hard Life Lessons Learned, and that's one of them. The grass is not greener on the other side. I've lived and learned.
What did I say? The grass isn't greener. It's almost done.
I have learned, okay, people. I'm not a narcissist.
Yes, you
I live
are.
alone, and mostly because I decide to, and I am an isolator. I don't like to be around others.
Oh, you are now.
I don't like to date. I don't know. I am alone, so that's what I get.
Yeah.
It is lonely and
Good.
sad. But
You're right.
what hurt the most out of all of that was my son, and that's why I would have stayed. Okay, because mothers should, you should give of yourself for your children, and I was only thinking of myself. I was very selfish and drunk and stupid, but now I'm on the other side. Now I'm getting emotional, but there you go, Riley. That's the story.
Your mother saw this coming.
Bitch, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way.
Your mother saw this coming. That's why she told you to get with that guy for your son, for your child, for your life that you had was a great life. You had a moment, you had a struggle time in your relationship, which most every relationship or marriage does, but you couldn't wait it out. So you left and you took accountability. You got what you got, right? But you deserved it. So y'all see it, right? The grass is not greener on the other side, like I said. To my ex who lured me out of a great marriage and then got me and then cheated on me. Let me bring it back real quick so that you understand what's going on. Let me bring it back. Bring it back. Here we go. Bam. My ex who lured me out of a great marriage and then got me and then cheated on me. Yes. With the middle finger, you definitely deserved it, but thank you for taking the count and being on the back end. All right. And with that being said, thank you for attending another episode of Working Man Podcast. I am your host, Nicholas J. Fury. Let me know what you think about this woman who, got the business on the back end as she should. Down in the comment section, and please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell on the way out of the door, and I will see you on the next video.